Warm greetings from PG and Research Department of Computer Science, Idhaya College for Women, Kumbakonam, brings to you awareness drive about COVID-19 and also to use this quarantine in a beneficial way to enhance our knowledge by organizing this two-day national webinar on exploration approach in data science. I started my introduction session about our college. In this valuable juncture, I would like to share about the glory of our college. Idhaya College for Women is one of the prestigious institutions affiliated to Bharathasan University, Tiruchirappalli, run by Franciscan Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary Congregation, Pondicherry. The college was established in the Jubilee year 2000. It has a good number of students, about 3,250, pursuing 10 undergraduate, 8 postgraduate, and many researchers and PhD in Tamil, respectively. The institution was recognized by UGC, 2F, and 12B. The laudable and noble vision of Idhaya is to provide a learning environment in which staff and students can discover, examine critically, preserve and transmit the knowledge, wisdom and values that will improve the quality of life of all. To accomplish the vision, Idhaya will committed to transform lives through the following missions: to achieve leadership in each discipline, to strengthen culture understanding, to offer an environment that emphasizes teaching excellence and meets the educational and personal needs of the students, to serve the needs of women, minority, disadvantaged, disabled, and non-traditional students. Then, I extend my introduction about our department. The Department of Computer Science have been functioning in the college since 2000. Our department winded its academic arena with the commencement of PG program in computer science in the year 2010 and research program in the year 2019. In all these years, the department has produced 100% result, gold medal, and many university rank holders in UG and PG. To achieve these goals, we have a team of faculty with good excellence, good academic and excellence. Now, I invite our department HOD, Dr. C. Pramila Rossi, to give her a welcome address.
All mind brings inner strength and self-confidence. So that's very important for good health. Be thankful for being healthy for today. Good afternoon to one and all for joining with us in our two-day national webinar on exploration approach in data science. First of all, I thank the creator of the universe, the Almighty God, for making us to survive with good health and also for make us to organize this webinar during this lockdown. It's a glad welcome we bring to you this session filled with the desires, hopes. We all share here to enhance our knowledge regarding data science. I would like to welcome and express my gratitude to our respectable principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Eugene Amala, for motivating us to organize this two-day national webinar. I extend my welcome to our resource person, Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj, head of the Department of Computer Application in SRM University. He had 23 years of working experience and 20 years of teaching experience. He plays many roles like chairperson of Board of Studies and member of ITSSL. We feel privileged today to have an opportunity to listen to him in this session on basics of data science. Data science is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, process algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structural and unstructural data. I would like to welcome all the participants who are all joined with us for this session and make use of this session to enrich our knowledge about data science. I invite our principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Eugene Amala, to deliver her message. Stay in home, learn from home. Thank you.
Warm and happy greetings to all. I am immensely happy that Idhaya College for Women Kumbakonam, Department of Computer Science is hosting 2 days national webinar on exploration approach in data science through Zoom Meet and YouTube live streaming. Globalization, privatization, and digitalization today have dramatically reshaped the education system in India and have created tremendous opportunities for internationalization especially transnational or cross-border education. This webinar aims to bring different ideologies under one roof and provide opportunities to exchange ideas, to establish research relations, and to find global partners for future collaboration. You can have data without information, but you cannot have information without data. That's what we learned today. Authentic education implies an ongoing, continuous interplay between the 5 moments of context, experience, reflection, action, and evaluation between students and teachers. We have an opportunity to broaden the knowledge. It is the need of an hour. Our emphasis is to create a society of progressive thinking individuals who will contribute to the intellectual development of the global community. Data is the new oil, analytics is the refinery, intelligence is the gasoline which drives the growth. This then leads from information to transformation. Choice or chance doesn't matter. When you get choice, choose the best. While getting chance, embrace it and go ahead. Strive for excellence. Good day and blessed art to you all. Over to Dr. Albert, today's resource person.
Good afternoon, Sister Principal.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, faculty members of the Department of Computer Science or Computer Application. And I would like to welcome the participants from different institutions across the nation to attend this program. See, it's really happy to me to meet our teaching fraternity during this COVID-19 situation, wherein the technology has wide opened the ways for new learning. And from wherever we are, we can easily learn things, right, through the technology. When the technology, right, comes into our palms. And that is what the scenario today. Thank to God for the technology, as well as having linked me with the Idhaya College for this particular webinar on big data or data science concepts, right? So I would like to just enter into my presentation. Organizer, the host has disabled participant screen sharing. Can you please help me to share my screen, please, so that I can get into my presentation. So the host has disabled the screen sharing. I couldn't play my presentation. The host, please permit me to share my screen so that the session can be taken forward.
Just a minute, sir. Sir, shall I give you an instruction, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. Now I got it. I got it. Yes, I got the screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Able to see my screen, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Before that, shall I give one instruction, sir?
Yeah. Okay.
To the participant. Dear participant, we are looking forward your comment and question. Please look at the chat box on your screen. If you think of a question for a speaker at any point, just type it in there and hold it for the discussion portion at the end of the event. Dear participant, kindly mute your audio as well as video. Thank you, participant.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me just continue with my presentation. I would like to start describing my agenda of the day. With regards to data science, we will understand what actually it is, and the need for data science also. I would like to give you glimpses of that. Then we will just discuss or come to know the steps in data science. Then the data science life cycles we will be taking up. Then I would like to just throw away a few lights on the data science, AI, and ML, including the deep learning also, how these things are associated. We will discuss few algorithms, mainly the association rule mining algorithm and a priori algorithm, I have, for demonstration, I have some results here. If time permits, I can just go in detail discussing on these concepts. So this is what the agenda of the day. Probably my participants would be more happier at the end of the session to get refreshed some concepts related to the data science aspect. When I just talk about data science, exclusively the data explosion that you can just quote everywhere from anywhere, as well as from any gadgets, any format, the data is made available. Gone are the days where we have the data in a structured format. All data were made available in a structured format, maybe in a form of an Excel sheet, or maybe in the form of a database, where we can easily manipulate the data in order to get the useful information. Moreover, the volume of the data was also less in those days. Any simple business firm can just collect their data through different ways, possibly in a very simpler format, I would say. They just organize the data.
Other quiet please.
Audience, participants, please mute your microphones so that it may not disturb not only myself, but the valid and more valued time of our participants, please. So with regards to the business in those days, as like I said, the data was collected from different ways and means, which was organized very well in a structured manner. Any database can be used for that purpose. The data was meticulously stored in the database, and whenever it was required, the information was retrieved through querying process from the database. Then after Excel sheet or spreadsheet concept came into existence, the data was possibly made available through the Excel sheet in a again structured format, and where more options for data manipulation exist in the Excel sheet itself. Probably in the IT companies, more of the project management related works are happening nowadays using Excel sheets. But those are possible if we have very small amount of data or the data whose volume is less. There were tools also used when smaller amount of data into existence for inferring information for decision making. But now in the present day, we have the data explosion taking place in different ways. 2 years back, it was mentioned like nearly 2.5 quintillion data was exploded into the globe. But now if you take 2020, nearly 1.7 million MB of data per second is generated. It is not generated from a single point. It is generated from different ways. We know from different sources the data is generated, and we are exposed to such sources also. We cannot go away from online either purchase or online searches and everything. Whenever we do online processes, automatically the data is made available for global access. So that can be done either from our personal computer or from our laptop computer or from our mobile phone or from any devices that are possibly connected to perform the operation. Hence, the data explosion has come, which I could just have in this screen as like you could see. And also the data is not in a structured format, I would say. The format is not structured, first thing. And the type of the data available is also not same or not common. Of course, we can just get data in a digital format like numbers, in the form of images, in the form of videos, in any format that is possibly transmitted over the network. So such huge volume of data, maybe in unstructured format, I would say, is made available. The tools that are simple for processing cannot be used for collection of data as well as analyzing of these data for inferring effective information. Hence, it is required to go for using tools which could help us to effectively collect data, then analyze the data for inferring information. How we are going to do the processing of this unstructured data, or in other words, semi-structured data. As like I said, no simple business intelligence tool can do process this data. There is a need for more complex algorithms for processing to extract the information from the data source. Of course, the data source, it's actually a cloud environment from where the data is going to be taken. Voluminous amount of data is there. The velocity of data, the big data that we may have heard about, big data, right? A voluminous amount of data that is being available, which has to be stored in a proper way. It has to be cleansed in a way that it could be processed, and there should be algorithms or the techniques must be effectively used for analyzing the data to extract the useful information from the data. And that is the need for data science. When I talk about the data science provides us the option for collection of data, cleansing of data, analyzing of data with the complex algorithms in order to infer information that is more suitable for decision-making purpose, or the information that can give more insight into what actually the background is, so that based on that, the decision can be inferred. So the need for data science is that only. Then almost all of you might have known this definition. What is data science? Data, which is nothing but the raw value collected from different sources, as like I said. Science, what is it? So we are applying scientific methods for exploring the information. I have given here 3 definitions which shoots the purpose of data science. Data science is a process of extracting the knowledge and insights. So we are not only extracting the knowledge, but more insights from the data by using scientific methods. That's what I say, the algorithms that we are using. Then data science is a systematic study of structure and behavior of the data. See, from that we can very well study the behavior of the data also. We can just very well see the behavior of the data, right, to deduce the valuable information or insight. Then another definition says a blend of various tools and algorithms and machine language principles with goals to discover hidden patterns from the raw data. So these are all the definitions that I could give you to start up. Participants, many of you have started helping me by scribbling on the screen which I have shared. Thanks for your supportive work that you are pointing what I am just dealing with. But it would be more help if these things do not happen. Yes, there are more than 100 in the Zoom, and more than nearly 1,000 participants are in the online YouTube live streaming. Please try to avoid this. So with regards to the data science, I would like to just scroll you through the steps that are possibly in the data science. See, with regards to the data science, when I'm just taking up an approach or problem for solving using data science or in data science, there are 5 major steps that are involved. First, we have to define the problem. What actually the problem is that we have to define. For example, in the COVID situation, right, many of the days we are held up. Many of the days we are held up at home, and it is we to go to the different places for shopping, that is for purchasing grocery and other things. So the definition of the problem that I can take is purchasing of grocery. That's what I have just highlighted there. Or suppose if I just want to travel to my office. I just move, right? There are more people, right, who are also driving. Now it's a very huge traffic jam. I am held up. Maybe in another half an hour time, I have to turn back to my duty. So I am in a very hectic schedule, right? Now, what the problem is that identifying the shortest path that takes away from this huge traffic to help you to go to your office. So that can be considered to be a problem. So that is what I mean by the problem. So the first step is the problem. The second step is related to the data collection. The problem I have taken is grocery. Now, with regards to the data collection, what are all the data that you will collect? You start from home. You have to identify a nearest shop. That is the first thing. You go to your nearest shop where you find it is overcrowded. In the COVID-19 situation, we are asked to stay away with social distancing in order to avoid the spread of coronavirus. So what we will do, we will just go to that nearest shop where we find many people standing. So you have to find first the nearest shop. You should identify that is a data collection. You go there, you just find the crowd there. Based on the crowd, so crowd is going to be one another data or parameter that I can take up. The first one is the distance from your home. The second one is going to be the crowd that you can find in that shop. Then if you have next shop which is little less crowded, where you can just spend some time, then you can purchase. You will just decide how much time you are going to wait there. The waiting time is also going to be taken for consideration. The next one that you will be taking or thinking of is related to, will I be able to get all the items in my list from that particular shop? So I have to collect data related to that also. Likewise, I can keep on mentioning the collection of data. That is what I mean by data collection. So data collection is nothing but the process of collecting the data. Then the third step that I can say, and another example also I have taken, to reach to your office, right? So with regards to that, traveling to your office, you find that there is a huge crowd occupied. Then what are all the different things that we will take? We will just try to find another alternate route. We will just try to find the distance from this place to reach your office through that particular way. Then the time that it will be taken. Then if any other parameters, maybe it may be raining or it may be so sunny, you have to take all atmospheric information also related to that. So keeping all these things, you are going to now process your data. So this is what I mean by data collection. Related to any problem that you have selected, you have to collect the possible data, right, from what the source that is available to supply. The third step related to data science is data processing. What is actually the data processing? So during the data collection, there may be lots of information unnecessary, right, for our requirement. We may have collected data, of course, with regards to that travel example from your house to your office, right? I am held up in one place. I just want to move to my office at the earliest. I find alternate route, the distance I am taking, the time to travel I am taking, and I collect the atmospheric information also. As of now, the humidity and other details related to the environmental related parameters are not required. It is required that how many vehicles are traveling in that alternate route, first thing is that also to be taken. Then the distance from the current place to my office through the alternate we have to take, then the time it will be taking. Based on this, it would be possible for us to consolidate our data for further analyzing. That is what we mean by data processing. So it is also called as cleansing of data. The data has to be cleansed. Unnecessary information has to be removed from the data. We call it by the name error. Those are errors. Let me just take it. Those things are to be removed. If I just include within my data, I may not be able to arrive at the correct information. So that is what the next step that I am dealing with regards to the data science related process. Then the next step that I will be taking is exploring and analyzing. So what is actually exploring and analyzing is that here we are identifying the variables or the parameters that could be contributing more for performing the calculations and as well decision making. So we have to identify or we have to select the decision variables. With regards to that travel problem, what I have said, the distance from the current place through the alternate place, the number of vehicles that are also traveling, right? So if that is also overcrowded, then I cannot take that as my alternate way. Then I should find for another thing. So that is also to be taken into consideration, and time taken will be for traveling. Other data are cleansed and removed, and these are all considered to be the crucial data for exploration. So now, after identifying the parameter values or decision variables for inferring the decision or information, we have to analyze. So how are we analyzing it? How are we analyzing it? Again, with regards to the purchasing of groceries, somebody is encircling the same thing, right? How much distance that you have to travel? What is the crowd available in that alternate shop which I can try for? What is the confident level of getting all the products in my list from that particular store? Even we will also try to check the rate, price also. So these are all the factors that we will be using for exploration and analysis. Then suitable algorithms can be used for analyzing so that we get the information. We get information. That is what we call to be the breakthrough for solution. And once the solution is reached, that's what we are aiming at. So these are the 5 crucial stages or steps that I can just think of related to data science related processes. Then the next thing that I would like to give an exposure, right, which I am just taking as the basics, is related to the life cycle of a data science. With regards to the life cycle of the data science, right, I would like to just take an example. I would like to take an example. Now we go to a shop, maybe a big supermarket. We go to a big supermarket where you can just see that the products are arranged in some order that you and me do not understand. You and me cannot understand it exactly how they have arranged. And very often they are going to just release the discount or the coupons for your purchase. So why, on which product, when they are going to declare that we are all unaware. Sometimes they may give discount for one product, sometimes they may give discount for another product. How do they decide on that? Certainly they have some basic data. Even if they do not, the simple supermarkets do not have such tools for analyzing all these data for taking a decision. By default, the human being, right, ourselves, we are a great data scientists. We ourselves are great data scientists. Related to the environment, we understand what the problem is. We try to collect the data related to that particular problem. We try to accept or reject few data that we may need to use for performing the operation. Based on the necessary data, we do processes and we derive the information to go for more analysis and decision making. So we ourselves are big data scientists, every human being. And the shopkeeper also, maybe in his perception, in his experience, he has decided and he has made arrangements like that. Now, that I'm just going to highlight through this data science life cycle. So with regards to the data science life cycle, the first step that I am just encountering here is business understanding. The business understanding is the first step. With regards to business understanding, the first thing is we understand the problem. Any problem that is taken for providing solution has to be cleanly identified. It has to be neatly identified without any ambiguity. The clear understanding of the problem alone will help us to proceed further for enabling or continuing with rest of the processes that we may be intended to follow to produce a very good analysis for decision making. So the first thing is understanding the problem. Suppose if I take my bag, go somewhere, right, without knowing where I am to go. The first stage itself, I am just confused. So I may not be able to solve it neatly. So understand, I should go to the groceries shop. I should go to my office. How I am going to do it? That is what we have to make it. So we have to identify the central objective of the problem. Why this problem is taken. Maybe the problem be of same nature, but we may need to process it to bring information for different kinds of decision making. So central objective of the problem has to be understood and has to be considered. Then identify the variables that are needed. We have to be very clear about the variables that we may be using, the variables that we are using for processing. So that's what the variables that need to be predicted, right? We have to be clear about it. The second step is data mining. This data mining, why I have just brought in data science, data mining is generally the data acquisition, data collection, or data gathering. That's it. So related to the problem that we have taken, we have to collect the necessary data from different possible sources. There may be different possible sources for providing information, right? So what data do I need? That we have to be first very clear. What are all the different sources from where I can collect the data? That plays a vital role. Suppose if we are unaware about the current system processing, we may end up right in a position where we were unable to collect the necessary data. So we have to be more clear about from where the data has to be collected. Then we have to find out the methods for collecting data also. How can I obtain data? That is also very important, right? There may be different ways. In those days, right, through objective type questionnaires or through some form of survey forms, or in some way it was collected. But present day data cannot be done like that, right? Because as like I told you, right, rarely we get the structured data, but mostly we have unstructured data. So we have to find how we have to collect data or what are all the different sources that could supply data for our purposes. The next question to answer is, what is the most efficient way to store the collected data? Of course, we may have collected data effectively, but we are not pretty confident and clear about how the data collected has to be stored and later accessed easily for processing. The whole process becomes cumbersome. So it is our main decision to take for storing and accessing of data also, preferably the cloud environment, right, provides us option for doing it. So understanding, then gathering of data, the two steps which I have to focus related to the life cycle of the data science. The third one is the data cleaning, which is also considered to be data processing. So processing of data or cleansing of data, that is very much needed. As like we know, the data can be in different varieties of forms. It is not common. What is our function, right, is that we have to collect data, we have to transform it into a desired format. If the data that we have collected is in format, that is well and good. We are blessed. So we can just go ahead with the execution of the rest of the algorithms and other things. But if the data that we have has some noise, has some errors, then those things have to be meticulously cleaned so as to have an effective data for further processing. So that is what we need to talk about when we are just thinking of the data cleaning related works. So that is the third step which I am talking about. The fourth step, otherwise, suppose if the data that we have is hectic, what will happen? We are unable to continue with the process, where we may not be able to identify the best suitable algorithm for bringing out our solution. That is what going to be the problem. Generally, the data analysts give a statistics that the most of the time related to data science processing is mainly spent on data cleansing. Nearly 50 to 80% of the time is spent on this particular stage, third stage, data cleaning stage, where the data could have multiple inconsistencies. If the data consistency creates a problem, then any algorithm that you have to apply will never give you the correct solution for you. So that is what the first thing. Data could have multiple inconsistencies, hence we require cleaning of it. There may be missing value required. As like I told you, there are some crucial parameters that we have identified. Related to any problem, we have certain parameters to be considered for critical decision making. Suppose if we have some data related to that missing, for example, very simple process. Many of us, maybe either students or faculty members, we are doing internal assessment of our students. The students write the internal exam, either 1 or 2 or 3. We select the best 1 or best 2. We take the average in any algorithm, right? In any format, we can do it. The student also submit the assignment. The student also takes class test. The student also conducts or attends seminar. The student also attends debates. There are different varieties of parameters, right, using which we do the evaluation of student performance. If that is the instances, we are very clear that all these parameter related data must be available for access. Otherwise, what we will do, we will just try to apply some algorithm in a way that we will try to fill the missed data. As teachers, we are not for that. So from our perspective, I have told, I'm also a teacher, right? Like many of my teachers who have joined here. Yes. So that is what we need to do. Any necessary data should not be missed. And the same way, any unnecessary data should not be linked. Again, let me just take, related to this internal mark evaluation, the student might have attended different programs outside. The student might have attended different social activities outside. The student might have contributed in different form other than academic to the department or to the institution. We may have proper account of those data. Will anyone at any instance take those parameter values that the student has 100% attended all social activities that the department organized, or all the activities that have been organized by our college, our institution, right? Have we taken up in any way like that? If we are taking it up in any way, right, that data is going to be irrelevant for our assessment. So we will just throw them away. Whatever required for my consideration, whatever required for my processing, I'm just going to consider, I'm going ahead with such data for processing. So that is the reason for data cleaning. Why I spend more time on this cleaning is that cleaning is a cumbersome process, and that takes 50% a minimum time related to this data processing. So that is what about data cleaning, which I am just talking about. The next stage is going to be, our next phase in the life cycle of data science is going to be data exploration. See, of course, this data exploration is a very, very, very important phase in the data science process. It is, of course, called as a brainstorming of data analysis. We call it as a brainstorming of data analysis, where the analyst understands the different possible patterns of the data. Normally, we call it as the patterns or clusters, right? The patterns, when I have some data, right? Suppose if I want to analyze the performance of student in a class, what we will do is we will just create some patterns. We will create some patterns where either based on the range of the mark we will do, either based on the performance of, right, the student in other components. Also, we will include for forming some groups. Some student may be very well in his presentation, communication, and everything, but if he does not take up his exam to score good mark, right, then he, if we do, can be in one group, we can make. Otherwise, we have to accordingly place him. So that is what a crucial process. Based on the nature, of the pattern, the decision could be derived very effectively. See, with regards to this COVID situation, how the red zone, how the orange zone, how the green zones are allocated. In a densely populated area where if there are more affected people, then we call that to be a red zone. It's an alert zone where anybody if goes into that zone are more prone to this infection. Then orange zone is also, right, which is less compared to the red zone, right, in the severity of the infection. Then the next stage is going to be green, which means that it is clean, where the infection possibility is very less. Likewise, the clustering or the pattern is going to be identified. And also they just identify the pattern, how this virus gets spread. They started first, those who come from either foreign countries or from other states are prone to the infection. First pattern identified. The second pattern, a group of people who attended a particular conference are more prone to this infection. That cluster was identified. Later in Chennai, when the corona spread, started grooming like anything, they started analyzing, and the officials started thinking of whether this has become a social disease, social spread. But they identified that due to the Coimbatore supermarket, right, scenario, the spread is more. Likewise, there are different patterns that are identifying to analyze. All these things are possible only when the cleansed data is available. So that is what I say. The analyst understands the different possible pattern of the data, which gives more insight that is useful. It retrieves the useful insight from that particular analysis. Then hypothesis or prediction is formed from this particular exploration process. The hypothesis can be done. See, as like I told you in the beginning, we are going to the office from home, and we are going to select an alternate route since our normal traveling route is hectically affected due to heavy traffic. There are two possible ways. Either route A can be used or route B can be used. That is a hypothesis, right? I define the hypothesis based on this. Route A can be used if there is less traffic and the distance is less. I can decide. The second one is route B can be used if such and such criteria is satisfied. But at a time, I will see to that one hypothesis gets success, another hypothesis that I will not consider, or that is going to be a failure one. That is the way the prediction is also going to be happening. So yeah, this can be, the pattern can be done by creating different ways. Random sampling, random set can be collected. That can be used for creating the histograms or any visualization items through which very clearly the exploration process can happen, right? So either there may be some possible existing patterns, that we need to come back. We call it as the supervised learning, and there may not be any existing patterns at all, but we have to just analyze, and we have to just derive to a pattern which may be following unsupervised learning, where we will be able to reach to the solution. So this is what about the data exploration step that I am just talking about, which also has the link with the feature engineering work, which is again learning the patterns, applying different methods to get a detailed insight into it. So that's what I just want to define. Then the predictive modeling is the next stage, where we determine the optimal data features for machine learning model. So from here, we are just taking it into, so far we have done analysis just to get an optimal data feature to form. Once that is done, we just get into our learning algorithm, machine learning model we are going to create. There may be different possible machine learning algorithms related to the data set that we have can be thought of, but it is our duty to select the correct right algorithm, right, for creating a model. So we have to create a model. The model is going to predict the target most accurately. So how can we just mention, or how can we just ensure the accuracy of the data that we get from that model? That is possible only when, right, a minimum of 2-3 algorithms are used for running that particular data set, and we are just comparing the result of those algorithms, from where we may be able to arrive at a conclusion that this could be the correct model, and this is going to be a very accurate model for providing the information. So we have to determine the best model for best solution. That is on our hands. The statistical approaches, by applying the statistical approaches in different means, we will be able to get the correct model for our access. That is what the predictive modeling that I'm just talking about. So which determines the data features for machine learning model. That's what. So from the data collected, the data features are extracted. Based on the features that we have extracted, we create a model. That model creation itself is not taking place in a very single step. It's not taking place very simply. It is also following an iterative process, a continuous process. How we split the input data set into the data, the whole data into the input data set as well as the training data set. So we are just splitting into two. The data set is split randomly. Then what we do is we build a model using the training set data set. First, we create a model with the training data set. Then, using a series of machine learning algorithms, we evaluate a training model by giving the input data. Then we just get the best output from that, based on which we decide this is the best model. So this is going to be an iterative model. As long as I do not get a proper result, best output, I have to train continuously. Either I may have committed mistake in earlier stages. Maybe the understanding of the problem may be wrong, or the data collection may be wrong, data cleaning may be wrong. I may not have applied a proper model, proper algorithms for finding out the patterns, or I may not have correctly chosen the algorithm for my learning process. So these are all the different things that comes in this life cycle. The final stage of this life cycle is applying visualization tools for providing detailed information for further analysis. So there are n number of visualization tools available, right? Once we get the trained set of data, then we can just go for using visualization tools that would give us more insight or a detailed insight into the information that could be feasible for decision making. So that is the way the data science life cycle proceeds. Hope I have just justified my assignment up to this point, the introduction to or basics of data science. Now what I would like to do is, I'm just going to take you through probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes, right, one simple example, which I had a plan of giving a demo using R programming tool, but since the time is of 1 hour and sorry to mention, I also have another scheduled meeting by my higher officials. I have to move on. So, but I will do justification to what I have to by giving the demonstration, not demonstration, but the examples, which I have already done, and I will just show you. See, I'm just going to take a problem of market basket analysis. What is actually this problem is all about? See, there is a retail store where the customers are coming for purchasing many products. Always the shopkeeper, as like I told you, will try to identify the buying behavior of the customers. If a customer comes in one season, what are all the items that he will purchase? That he normally analyzes. Accordingly, the arrangements in the retail store or any discount or offer that he may plan to give can be done, right? So that is what the main objective of this market basket analysis, what I have taken. Many of you may have got to know about this particular problem. Anyhow, for explanation, I'm just taking it, which is a good example for including this association rule mining and as well a priori algorithm. So they derive decision accordingly and they just move with the processes accordingly. I would like to use, as like I mentioned, for market basket analysis MBA, right? Two major algorithms. One is association rule mining and another one is a priori algorithms, which work or goes hands in hand together. What is actually association rule mining is very simple. This is what, suppose if a customer buys product X, he has a tendency of purchasing product Y. That's it. That is what association is all about. It means that a customer who purchases bread, for example, a customer who purchases bread tends to purchase either butter or jam. So that is an association that we are talking about. And that is the way we are going to form rules in association rule mining. So that's the way we are going to do these sort of things. And with regards to that, I have a few definitions here. Association rules find all set of items. So when I talk about the process, I am going to identify the rules that are best suitable for decision making. What rules? Rules are very simple. If X product is purchased, what is the probability of purchasing Y product more? If X and Y are purchased, what is the probability of purchasing product Z more? So that is what the association that I am making. And thereby, what we can do is, or what the retailer can do is, he can just keep the products arranged in little longer distances. Very little longer distances. Why? See, if bread is kept in one place, but not nearby jam is placed, all the way you have to travel from that bread section to another section where jam is available, right? When you are traveling to that place, there may be many items that comes to your eye that you may want to purchase or that tends you to purchase. That is what the tricky thing that the retailers do. And maybe for that, right, this association, right, is required for analysis, right? And when bread is purchased, jam will be purchased or butter will be purchased. So discount need not to be given for these two items. Need not to be given, because by default, if a customer who purchases bread will go for purchasing either jam or butter, but may not be going for purchasing egg. What you can do is, any customer who purchases bread and jam, there may be a discount price on egg. That is the way we can decide. And the transactional data of that particular retail shop may be more useful for calling or taking a decision of this kind. And that there comes this association rule mining. When I'm just talking about association rule mining, I am just going to talk about three major parameters or three major elements that I will be evaluating. One is the support, and another one is the confidence, and the third one is going to be the uh, lift, what I am talking about, lift. Okay. So with regards to that, right, what actually support is? Support is nothing but it gives the fraction of transactions that contains the item X and Y. That's what I have given. Frequency of purchasing item X and Y. There may be a customer who purchases item X only, right? X only calculated. N represents the total number of transactions that are taking place. So among these many number of transactions, N represents the number of transactions have taken place in that particular store. Among these number of transactions, what is the frequency in which X and Y, products X and Y have been purchased? That's what we mean by the support. Then we have a confidence also, that is how often item A and B occur together. That is exclusively purchasing of X and Y together. That is the confidence, right? So confidence is nothing but the frequency of X comma Y divided by frequency of A with regards to frequency, which means that we decide whenever we purchase X, the product, the bread, let me assume, we purchase jam. So that's it. What is the confidence in purchasing that? That is the greater confidence that you have, then accordingly the association rules can be retrieved. So that is what about it. And the last element that we will take is lift. So what is actually the lift? Which indicates the strength of a rule over the random co-occurrence of X and Y, which means that the support, overall support that we are calling support divided by support of X into support of Y. So that is a formula that we will be using for forming. So based on this, the rules are going to be formed. When I say rules, it is very simple, nothing more difficult. Suppose if I say I purchase a product A, I purchase product B. Whenever I purchase A, I purchase B. So there is an association between, or one-to-one cardinality between A and B, right? When I purchase B, I may purchase product C. So the association is extended. I purchase A, I purchase B, and as well, whenever I purchase this, I purchase C also. Likewise, that goes. Now, it is what we mean by the rule. That is what we mean by the rule. Suppose if I say product A, comma product C, and comma product D has more confidence level of purchasing, then that is one rule. You are going to consider that as a rule for decision making. If suppose the store has thousands of products, thousands of combination of these kinds can be there, thousands of combinations can be there, then how are we going to derive which rule is going to be more suitable for decision making? Probably my teachers, faculty members, and the students who have joined may be able to understand me what I am at. There are products A, B, C likewise. I'm going to associate product A with B when chances of buying B is always there when A is purchased. That's what I mean. Possibility of purchasing C is there whenever I purchase. That is association. If you take this combination, there are more combinations you can just derive. That's what I want to tell you. So there are thousands rules will be there, but it is not possible to refer all the rules and go according to all the rules for purchasing. How are we going to decide on that? Then there comes a priori algorithm where it will help us to decide. Participant, thanks for your appreciation by scribbling on the screen. If any concept is not understood, then I will come back, no problem. You can just raise your questions, right? So here I have a simple example for association mining. Then I will go a little faster as I have to address to another meeting also, which is conducted in my institution, right? So association rule mining, here I have 5 baskets. 5 baskets I have. The customers have purchased products named A, B, C, D, E. and those baskets gives you what products that the customers have purchased. What the first rule that I'm going to take here, I'm going to evaluate all these three values. The first one that I'm going to take is possibility or association between A and D. Association between A and B can be calculated, B and C can be calculated, but for example, I have taken this association between A and D, right? So what is the association between A and D? What is the support? Support is nothing but frequency of occurrences of A, right? And frequency of occurrences of D whenever we purchase A. That's what. So you check here in the basket how many times D comes along with A. You can see that 2 times D comes along with A. A comes with B, comes with C, those things that we won't bother. It's our rule is between A and D, I mean the A and D, what is the association? Support value is among 5 baskets. Among 5 baskets, there are 2 baskets having A and D together. So what is the confidence? Frequency of XY divided by frequency of X. So what is the frequency of X? X comes in 3 baskets. So frequency of X is 3, right? Then what the frequency of XY? XY combinedly comes in 2 places. The confidence is going to be 2 by 3. What is the lift? Support of, right? The total support divided by support of X into support of Y. That we have to calculate. That gives us the data 10. That's the way the first line is calculated. Similarly, C, whenever not purchasing A and C, purchasing C and then A, that we have to identify. How many packets? There are 5 baskets. How many combination of C and A comes? So we just clearly get 2 out of 5. What is the confidence? Confidence is going to be the frequency of C is 4. Frequency of C is 4, and among which, along with A, it comes in 2 baskets. So that is what. So likewise, we can evaluate this. This is what the association rule mining means. Here I have an algorithm, right? Here I have an algorithm. I will just go through this algorithm a little faster. See, there are 5 transactions with the transaction IDs I have. In my database, I have first transaction purchases item 1, item 3, and item 4. Second transaction identified by ID 200 purchases 2, 3, 5. Third one 300, 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 products are there. Fourth transaction purchases item 2 and 5. From where we are just evaluating the support. Support of 1 is what? It is 2. What is support of 2? Support of 2 is 3. It comes in 3 transactions. Support of 3 is, it comes in another 3 transactions. Support of 5 comes in another 3 transactions. From where, what we have to do is, according to the a priori algorithm, we have to select which is the maximum. The minimum is going to be thrown away. That is the way we are going to proceed. And this is for 1 item, but it is not possible to decide based on 1 item, that is association rule. At least 2 item association has to be there. So 1 and 3, what is going to be the support? Support is 2. 1 and 4, support, you can evaluate, that is 1. 3 and 4, again it is 1. Support of support between 2 and 3 is 2. 2 and 5 is 3. 3 and 5 is 2. 1, 2 is 1, and 1, 5 is 1. From here, what we do is we move to the next process. We identify the maximum values. So 1, the minimum can be ignored with regards to a priori. Maximum is 1, 3, 2, 3, and 2, 5, right? Those things that we can take combinedly. In the third set, we have 1, 3, 4. 3 items association I have, where for 1, 3, 4 it is 1, 2, 3, 5 it is 2, 1, 3, 5 it is 1. So the algorithm steps are given there. Most of you might have read the steps. That's what I had just explained. Now, we go refine more and more by applying another algorithm where I am able to get, in the previous algorithm, I was able to get 3 rules, and in the next algorithm, I'm able to get 3 rules, right? Based on this particular thing. I'm unable to explain to you the algorithm more. So this is what about. Now, with regards to this, I have the a priori algorithm that comes into the play. So this right algorithm works in a way, candidate item sets are generated using only large item sets of previous pass without considering the transactions in the database. Always we need not to rely on the database. From the previous phase or previous step, what the possible rules that we have selected to be right, more or less will take us towards the proper solution. We take it, we right iterate it, we take it. Then the large item set of the previous pass is joined with itself to generate all items, right, whose size is higher by one, more than one. Then each generated item set that has a subset which is not large is deleted. So there should not be very big list. Association cannot extend like that. So it should be of minimum no, elements in the set, but it has to be of maximum support that it has to have. In that way, we make it. So every subset of a frequent item set is also frequent. In that way, we do it. So with regards to that, we select 2, 3, 5 has more support, and they have very close association in that way. So this is how the association rule mining and a priori algorithm works together to train the sets, right? So that's what about the presentation that I would like to give you. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And due to this COVID-19, everybody started greeting, stay strong and stay safe. So thank you so much. I really thank the principal sister, the head of the departments and faculty members of Idhaya College, Kumbakonam, for having given me one opportunity like this to establish my relationship with Idhaya College and to meet many of my teaching faculty members all over all over the nation, as well as many of my good, kind-hearted student friends. So thank you so much. I thank you one and all for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir. There,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Some of them asking some queries, sir. Shall I ask you, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. 1 or 2 questions, ma'am, because that next meeting already started.
Oh,
I have just kept it to mute in another moment. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
What machine learning model are suitable for the data science?
Ma'am, that's what I said. It is not possible to define this is the right model that we can think of. That's what in my presentation also I have just now told you that this is going to be the right model with regards to the problem that we have taken, with regards to the training set and the input data set that we have, right? Related to that training set and data set, there are algorithms possibly available for executing to get the best solution. We have to train accordingly, and we have to compare more results of the algorithm. More algorithms, 3, 4 algorithms we can have, right? Suitably, the algorithms that are related to usage of that particular format of data, we have to identify, and we have to just derive the solution. We have to analyze the decision or solution of each algorithm. Then we have to decide which is the best one. That is the way. That is what my answer is. If any specific, that's why I have taken this a priori and association rule mining algorithm to discuss this particular aspect. So these kinds of problems can be solved using these kinds of algorithms. And there are, see, suppose if we take our image related problem, right? Data, digital image processing and other things, if we just go for doing, and that has their own related set of algorithms where related to the problem of finding the feature set that is pattern, we will use different statistical method. PCA, principal component analysis, is one of the methods that we can very well use for such. So related to the type of the problem and category of the problem, it is we to decide what algorithm that to go about. Am I clear, ma'am? In my answer? Am I clear in my answer, ma'am? Hello, ma'am? Yes.
Yes. There are many of them asking for a PPT, sir.
My PPT?
Yes, sir.
That's what I asked. Yeah, I can share with HOD ma'am, right?
Okay,
Yeah, surely I'll share it with HOD ma'am so that HOD ma'am share with others.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I will pass on. So really, I'm very much happy to have this very good audience group, except 1 or 2 who were scribbling on my screen.
Sorry,
really,
sir.
I
Sorry
appreciate. No, really appreciate. I appreciate their involvement. Thanks to them especially. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Ma'am, one more request. Can you just share the feedback of the participants with me also, so that I can just refine my works in any area that is required.
Oh,
That's the way I need. Yeah.
sure, sir. After receiving feedback,
Great.
through story, we will send you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'll discuss with HOD ma'am also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, great.
Very good afternoon and all. Joining with us on behalf of PG and Research Department of CS from Idhaya College for Women, I may like to express our sincere thanks to all the participants, those who watch the seminar and make this lockdown in a useful way from your home. A big thanks to Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj for demonstrating the basis of data science. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the wonderful presentation, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks really for our teaching community. It is what the work that we can do during this COVID period.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm always doing this for the benefit of our students also. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.